Yeah, we woke up one day and decided to buy some land. Yes.
You know what? That's actually surprisingly close
accurate,
to the way it worked out, yeah.
Hi, y'all. So we've been getting a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And we thought we would make a quick video to try and answer some of them.
Plus, kind of update y'all on how things are going.
Also, I am Cynthia, and this is Josiah.
Hey-o.
That was one of the major questions.
Yeah. Who are you people?
Who are you people? We just sort of barreled in with hi. So we have been homesteading on 3 acres of land in Beaufort, South Carolina for the past 9 years. And we've been married for coming on 15 years. Yeah, and one of the major goals of our marriage has been to be debt-free and to work towards that goal. And essentially what this really boiled down to was the housing market in our area exploded. It went crazy. It was a major bubble. It's still kind of in a bubble. It's starting to burst now.
How we could afford all this. We purchased the property, again, 9 years ago. Spent a lot of time and effort. A lot of sweat equity, especially during the pandemic. She was able to do a side hustle making masks, and we dumped a lot of that money back into it. And after 9 years, we were able to walk away with 250% of what we purchased it for. That was great. The lady we sold it to was going to basically do what we're doing there. She's already, we sold her some chickens and some of the goats too. She's already got the garden up and going.
She's got a TikTok. I'll link it in below.
Yeah, so she's basically got her life. Only with a TikTok involved. There was a serious multi-level Venn diagram to figure out where we wanted land. We wanted cheap land.
Because we wanted a lot of it.
We were looking for like 20 or 40 acres. Got that.
A couple times over.
We wanted land that was still good for gardening. So that canceled out a lot of the like Montana flatlands, Arizona, Nevada, all those places where you can get land for a few $100 an acre, but it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
No water.
Yeah. We looked through all that. We crunched some numbers. We first looked at Alaska, but it was too cold and too expensive, strangely enough. The era of cheap land in Alaska is gone, apparently.
Well, it was more than that. It was also cost of living. Because in Alaska, if you do a lot of hunting and gathering, you can live quite cheaply. But we do more raising and butchering. Just not something that we're really drawn to. I prefer to grow, which requires more land. And we require to raise our own meat, which requires more land. So in Alaska, you can get away with a small amount of acreage if you just happen to border one of the billion national
state parks and state lands, things like that, which people who've been watching on YouTube do. So Alaska was out, then we did Montana, but again, the cheap land. Then we did Michigan, which was okay, and Minnesota, but they all had various reasons why they weren't working. And then we stumbled across northern Maine.
It's a buyer's market in Maine, and we sold in a seller's market in South Carolina.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and that allowed us to basically pay cash for our land and still have enough money left over to build and to move up there and to do what we needed to do. And right now we're just waiting out the winter. We're kind of in a holding pattern, and we considered waiting until spring to try and sell our house, but the bubble was starting to burst. Housing prices were starting to go down, and we were like, look, if we wait till we're ready to move, we could easily lose $50,000 to $100,000 in equity. Easy. And that would mean we wouldn't be able to move to the new property. So it was kind of a now or never situation, and we're fortunate enough. My dad was agreed to let us stay here. We're helping him rejuvenate his barn while we're here. Right now we're all sharing my childhood bedroom, which my mother turned into a sewing room and painted it neon green. We're just sort of hanging out here and waiting the first snowfall. The neighbor was kind enough to send some photos of the first snowfall.
We got, I think, 5 or 8 inches last night.
Which is not a big deal there.
Not a big deal there, but here everyone would die.
Yeah, we just shut the state down.
Yeah, they'd run out of bleach and milk, and everyone would kill each other in the streets.
Cannibalism.
Yeah. So yeah, we're also, I'm finishing out my job here. I'm a teacher, so that's something I'm looking forward to taking up there to Maine. One of the jobs that's always needed, which would help me give me summers off, which is going to be nice because I'll be needing it up there. But yeah, so we're excited. The boys are excited. They're looking forward to playing in snow because it's something they've never seen before. There, we've had friends and family. They get cold up there. I'm like, what's this winter you speak of?
There's going to be a learning curve.
Oh yeah.
We don't know how to deal with snow, and the property we selected, the township plows all the way to the driveway, and that was kind of a requirement for us because there was other land we were looking at, but it was in the middle of just like a bunch of hunting land that was only used seasonally, and no one maintained the road, so it was, we're going to be responsible for 2 miles of plowing to get out. We're like, we're not ready for that. We don't really understand how much work that is, or if it's a lot of work, or if it's something that's manageable. We don't even know. So we've just got our driveway we're going to have to worry about.
The good thing is, since we don't know that much about snow, y'all are in for some choice content. Picture it. A snowy day, some snow coming down. She's inside on the porch filming me cursing monotonously at some sort of tractor or implement, trying to figure out how to fire it up so I can plow the fields. So while slipping and busting my butt on the snow and ice. So this is going to be y'all's chance for some good quality laughter, because that's what I'm here for.
And so right now what we're doing is we are crunching numbers on what to do about the tiny house. A lot of your comments have been pretty much agreeing with Josiah here. To just start over. And really what we've done is, when we started looking for land, we knew there was no way we'd be able to afford a land with house on it. We were going to start with raw land, and so we had it in our head that, hey, the first few months we're going to be living in a tent for that first summer while we build a small house, which will eventually become your workshop, and we're going to live in that for 2-3 years while we build the primary house. That seems to be the normal pattern that people do when they're starting land from scratch. But we got this tiny house, and that we're looking at numbers now. We're either going to use the tiny home as basically our tent, in which case it has saved us the money of having to buy a tent, and then just build what will be your workshop like we originally planned. Or we're looking at the cost to repair the tiny home and put on a smaller addition to suit the needs of our family. Now, really what that's come down to is there's about $1,000 difference we've estimated for in favor of the tiny homes, keeping the tiny home. However, the tiny home is not just sitting on the ground, it is sitting on a heavy-duty trailer. And the neighbor said that the guy who built it, he drove up on the property with all of his building supplies on the trailer. So the trailer was roadworthy within 4 years ago.
The wheels and tires are all look good.
It's been mostly out of the weather for that time.
Didn't really inspect the tires too heavily, but I didn't see any obvious dry rot, and the thing was only built 2 years ago. So the benefits of starting with a completely fresh, smaller or medium home, as we've been talking to it.
Where we know everything is attached.
Where actually structure is attached. I know, right? This is a weird concept. But if we do that, then also, once I tear it apart, I'll have a trailer for moving hay and timber and lumber and a tractor at some point, which y'all are going to get to enjoy me figuring out how to drive a tractor.
Because right now, for the tiny home, realistically, we're looking at replacing all of the exterior plywood, all of the insulation, because that's all been waterlogged, all of the interior boards, which undoubtedly have mold growing on the inside. All of the subfloor.
Like half some of the framing that's not there.
Some of the framing that's not there, and half the roof.
At least half the roof.
At least half the roof. I think the other half is okay. Maybe. That's about the only good thing going on there. Oh, and all the wiring.
Oh, yeah. So what we're left with is...
Yeah, what's good is most of the beams are good. Most of the structure beams are good, and the windows are good.
Yeah. So that's about it.
But we could also just salvage that as we tear it apart. And really, I think that trailer is what makes the difference to make it make sense monetarily for us to just tear down and start
a decent size, like 26-foot trailer, will then allow us to use that for implement movement and things like that.
Yeah, so because that was on our need to source list anyway. Minimum prices we see for a used one of those is like $2,000.
Yeah.
So that bumps it into the favor of starting from scratch and just using the tiny home as a tent, basically, and camping in that while we build. So that is the current plan. And videos from here on out until we move there are going to be rare and sparse. There are a couple things I want to make a video of that I'll be posting, but for the most part it's going to be quiet from us until we're actually on site and actually building the homestead, because that's what this channel is going to be. It's going to be building the homestead.
There'll be, like I said, we've got some things we're going to be doing here. I want to introduce y'all to all the critters, especially Sir Pork's a lot. He's a hoot.
You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? You want to take a nap? Okay, take a nap.
And, we'll do that periodically and
We have
updates.
a lot of births coming up.
We have births, not us, but goats and pigs are all pregnant.
There's some babies in there. Come on there. Here you go.
So you'll get to see some of the babies, and I'm making some quilts for us from all of the fabric left over from all the mask business. And just little things like that, but past that it'll be pretty quiet until spring.
At least 1 or 2 sections of video of demolition and reconstruction of a trailer.
Yes, so we have purchased an RV?
No, it's a toy hauler.
It's a toy hauler trailer.
Yeah.
And it's suffered some water damage that has since been repaired, but really it's just not suitable for human use.
Yep.
But we're going to put
Great
it on
for pigs.
We're gonna put it on a diet, strip it down, get about 1,000 pounds off of it, and it's going to be our livestock trailer. And the nice thing about it not being a livestock trailer and instead being a toy hauler is it can be used as a barn while we're up there until we're able to build a proper barn.
Yep. So that's going to be an interesting adventure.
So there's going to be a video on us converting
several maybe
a used toy hauler into a livestock trailer. So.
Picture cursing.
Thank you all so much. The amount of interest that this channel has had has been incredible. We were not expecting.
We went from like 200 subscribers to 1,700 subscribers
just in a day.
Yeah, day and a half or so.
And that's been insane. And just your comments have all been amazing and so encouraging and helpful in many cases, especially with the mice dealing with.
Oh, yes.
We've been looking at ways to build with mice in mind to keep them out. We think we found some ways.
Got some ideas.
But yeah.
Yep. All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Let's hope it was recording. We'll edit that out. Yeah, that's going to be roll.
I'm the editor.
Hi, Buffy. I'm trying to get some roll of the chickens. Hi, you want to say hi? I was trying to film the chickens. Hi, Buffy. You want to say hi? Pretty girl. This is Buffy the acorn slayer. Yes, and this is one of our growers. Hi. Oh, I can't get a very good shot of you when I'm petting you. No, I can't.